A couple of paedophile teachers now. Different people, different areas, different schools, but both teachers and both sick in the head. Let's start with Andrew Oldfield, a 35-year-old teacher who worked at Horns Mill Primary School in Helsby from 2018 even, who was found guilty of repeatedly having sex with a girl between the ages of 13 and 17, even going as far as to message the girl to tell her that he was going to do it again. Oldfield was himself a father of two and was convicted in 2020 of 4 counts of sexual activity with a child, for which he was sentenced to just 4 years in jail. The victim was not a pupil at the school that he worked at, but was caught out when messages he had sent the girl appeared on her phone's locked screen and were seen by the victim's mother. Oldfield appeared at Liverpool Crown Court on the 23rd of October 2020. It was heard that the victim's mother confronted Oldfield and he gave an elaborate lie to cover his arse, but the mother wasn't satisfied and so managed to guess her daughter's phone PIN number and access the messages. She said she was so concerned by the intimate messages that she read that she woke up her sleeping daughter and questioned her about them. The girl is said to have become very upset and, while maintaining that nothing had happened, also asked her mum to promise that she would not call the police. Now, I know this sentencing is an old one, but recently the Teaching Regulation Agency and the Office of the Secretary of State for Education have made a judgment that Andrew Oldfield is now to be banned from the teaching profession for life, with no right to appeal the decision. I mean, it's only taken 2 fucking years. The TRA board said of the abuse, Mr. Oldfield's conduct was of the utmost seriousness and completely incompatible with the standards and behaviour expected of any member of the public, let alone a teacher who is placed in a position of trust with children. Perfectly acceptable for the police, though. Mr. Alan Maywick, acting on behalf of the Secretary of State, said, Mr. Andrew Oldfield is prohibited from teaching indefinitely and cannot teach in any school, sixth form college, relevant youth accommodation or children's home in England. Furthermore, in view of the seriousness of the allegations proved against him, I have decided that Mr. Andrew Oldfield shall not be entitled to apply for restoration of his eligibility to teach. In other words, he cannot appeal it. Next up, we have a new teacher who was still under the guidance of his mentor at the time. Adam Hart appeared at Birmingham Crown Court last week accused of multiple incidents of inappropriate behaviour towards young pupils at the school he was working at. This school hasn't been named, but was in Birmingham. Hart was accused of lifting a girl up by her bottom, kissing her on the forehead and asking, "You're alright with this, aren't you?" He also told the girl that she was addictive and that hugging and kissing her was infectious after she had gone to see him for support. Again, sounds like perfect Metropolitan Police material to me. 29-year-old Hart was said to have been a relatively new teacher and naive with his behaviour, especially towards young girls, which led to multiple warnings from staff and allegedly leaving his mentor exasperated. Obviously so exasperated and so many concerns from other staff that he wasn't immediately investigated and or dismissed for his behaviour, which makes me feel that the school are also now responsible for the behaviour by allowing it to continue. Hart initially denied wrongdoing at a trial which was delayed due to COVID, which left the jury unable to reach a verdict. A new trial was scheduled, and ahead of the new trial, Hart changed his plea to guilty to a charge of sexual activity with a girl aged between 13 to 17 and an adult abuse of a position of trust. Hart was sentenced on May the 20th, and although denied the charges initially and later changed his plea to guilty, the court saw it fit to let him walk free from court with a simple 3-year community order. The victim said at his sentencing that she struggles to trust men and even stands near windows and doors when speaking to them in case she needs a quick escape. But even that didn't persuade Judge Avik Mukherjee into giving the cretin a proper sentence, made to deter him from doing it again. Judge Avik Mukherjee said that he was bound by legal guidelines and in reality any term of imprisonment would be relatively short. He stated it would be better to serve the public interest and would be more constructive for the probation service to work with Hart. Prosecutor Antoine Muller said that the victim initially went to Hart for support over a personal matter. His response was to hug the girl and, in that non-sexual way, comforted her. But that started a process by which Mr. Hart began to sexualise the situation between teacher and pupil. He called her addictive and called hugging her infectious to her face. Hart then started giving her things, such as chocolate, before he began hugging her again, held her bottom, lifted her up, and she faced him, saying, "You're all right with this, aren't you?" and kissed her on the head. Mr. Muller said the incident scared the girl, who began to avoid Hart before confiding in her parents. Suspended from the school before being completely removed from teaching, said the prosecutor, who stated his conviction would mean he would never work in that field again. Dudley, defending Hart, said it is only relatively recently the defendant has acknowledged the true position. It has proven slightly difficult for him to readily vocalise these things. He is not the most outgoing personality. He confirmed Hart had no previous records and added he was new to his teaching career. Perhaps there was an element of naivety, perversity. The reality is there's no excuse for what happened, and he does not seek in any way to. Judge Mukherjee added, "You took advantage of the situation she found herself in, and the circumstances you found yourself in, notwithstanding your extensive training. You forgot about her and focused on your needs, desires and feelings. You abused your position of trust." Judge Mukherjee ordered Hart to carry out 30 days rehabilitation activity and an accredited sexual offending programme, as well as pay $2.5 grand in costs. Judge Mukherjee said sending you to custody for a very short period wouldn't be beneficial to the public. They need to be protected from you in the future. With that in mind, I want to make it clear I'm not passing what I believe to be a lenient sentence. I'm passing the most constructive disposal in this case. He also imposed a 5-year sexual harm prevention order and warned any breaches or any further offences during the course of his community order would result in a very bad day for Hart. However, the chances of him actually going to prison if he does it again are going to be pretty low. Because that's the judicial system for you.